All righty. You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Dallas Cowboys. And why are the Dallas Cowboys 0-16? Because they suck. They got like 5 quarterbacks, and they still suck. The Dallas Cowboys suck. Man, it never gets old. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay, just once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box, like, like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes or whatever, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. Oh, there's Jersey guys. Hey, there you are. Jersey guys in the house. All right, so before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one's called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, right, put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you're subscribed to my channel, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. And I say this in every video. Basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my Facebook page, which I'll go over in just a minute. It's all called like the same thing. Right? It dumbs it down for a moron like me. That way, I don't have to, what's my page? What's the YouTube channel called? Is the Facebook group called something different than the page? It's all called the same thing. It makes it nice and easy for me. That way, I don't have to think. And that's not good for me trying to think, right? But in the group, New York Giants, the Gridiron group, we have over 5,300 members. Usually once the season starts, I kind of noticed this last year too, like with the group here, like every few days we went up about 100 members or so. So, it's doing really, really well. Really, really well. Very, very, very impressed. Now, what it is usually once I get done going live, I'll spend probably like the next couple hours putting stuff in the group here and in the page once again, which I'll go over in just a minute. And I try to get 10 things a day in there. And now that the season's here, I'm getting probably closer. It's probably like 20 things every day. And as I said, I say it all the time. If I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, there's stuff going in the group and in the page every day, without question, every day. And I said whether I'm sharing an article, or maybe it's a video or a post, a picture, something just showing some stats on a ball player, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites. By the way, there's a ton of stuff going in there every day. And you become a member, not only do I put stuff in the group, but the members post stuff in there as well. So, as I said, there's darn near almost 365. There's a ton of stuff going in there every day. And then the second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook page. Right, I'm the administrator in there, so I'm the only one to post anything in there. But it's the same thing. Once I get done going live, I'll spend the next couple hours just putting stuff in the group and in the page. And I said the same thing with the page. It's I try to get at least 10 things in there every day. And usually now that the season is upon us, guys, I'm getting probably close to 20 things every day in there. And I said same thing, whether it's a post, a picture. I'm sharing an article, it's a video, I'm something with some stats on a ball player, something making fun of the Eagles, the Cowboys, I said, which is my personal favorite. There's a ton of stuff going in there every day. And, it's as I said, if I'm alive and breathing and there's internet access, there's stuff going in there, and I don't commingle the stuff. So basically, the stuff that I put in a page, I don't put in a group. Whatever I put in a group, I don't put in a page. I just try to keep the stuff separate, right? So there's a ton of stuff. So if you go to the, as I said, if you go to the page and you like it and you follow and you go to the group and you become a member, I said darn near 365. I mean, there's a ton of New York Giants information every day, all the time. As I said, if I'm alive and breathing and I got internet access, there's stuff going in there. But you can't always be happy, right? You got some people who aren't. So I got my money back guaranteed for you. So if you go to the page, you like it, and you follow it, you go to the group and become a member. If you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, well, all that stuff said and done, out of the way with. All right, well, hey, Terrence. Hey, Terrence in the house. I'll tell you what. Is that OBJ or is that Jalin Hyatt? Who is that number 13, huh? I also saw a thing that said he was trying to kind of I saw it on my phone, and then I'm looking for it online and all. He was trying to show maybe a little bit of love to David Sills as well. I'm not sure, but I remember I did see he had I don't know if it was like a FaceTime kind of thing, or if OBJ recorded something maybe on his phone. I guess after after Jalin Hyatt got drafted, and he sent it to Hyatt, and Hyatt was watching him. I mean, I don't know if it was I don't remember if it was an interactive kind of thing or whatever, but OBJ's like, yo, wait, don't be breaking all my records. He said, leave a couple for me or something like that. So, but it's pretty impressive. But I saw David Sills, he got picked up by the, and it's kind of like, I guess the only thing I guess I can see is that because, well, I guess you don't quite know if the Giants would have brought him back on their practice squad, because he's got over the 4 years of service, because he was taken like in 2019 by the Bills. So once again, he's got the Bills Giants combo connection kind of going on there. But so when he got released, right, so he could sign pretty much with anybody. So he got put on the Broncos practice squad. So I guess maybe I said that you don't know. I don't know if he would have ever been brought back on the Giants practice squad once again. But I guess he, being put on the practice squad, I guess he saw maybe a quicker entrance into the Broncos starting 53, maybe with their wide receivers, but also he has the special teams element there too. He wants to create his own history with the number. Said he grew up watching. Oh yeah, well, I mean, I just checked it out. I mean, my God, OBJ. I just looked at it just to refresh my memory, but he because he missed the beginning. He had like a hamstring injury or something, one of his hamstrings or something like that. So he missed like the first 4 games or something to see. He only started in 11 games, but he played in 12 games. So in 12 games, he caught 91 passes. That's 7.5 receptions a game. So if he played all 16 games, he had 91 receptions. That would have gave him, if he played 7.5 receptions a game. So if he played in 4 more games, that would give him another 30 receptions. He would have had 121 receptions as a rookie. I mean, could you imagine that? He had 12 touchdown receptions. So basically, he played in 12 games, 12 touchdown receptions. So if he played the whole season, he would have had 16 touchdowns. He played in 12 games. He had over 1,300 receiving yards. So if he played all 16 games, he would have had maybe 1,750 receiving. So, he was on pace for like 121 receptions, 1,750 yards, and 16 touchdown receptions as a rookie. Holy cow. Talking about taking the league by storm. Unbelievable. Man, what a once again, you could go back and just think about, because where's that? Did I still have it up there? Did I keep it up there? Did I put it down? Sometimes I get too many. Maybe I might have put it down. Yeah, sometimes I get. All right, well, I can get through it real fast. I mean, just you could go. I mean, if you gave me almost $1 for all of our wide receivers that got injured over the years, that I don't want to say totally ruined their career, but just got injured and they lost a lot of valuable time. And man, I mean, you go like Steve Smith, you go like Shockey because he broke his leg and he became kind of expendable. So he wound up going to the Saints after the 2007 season. But I mean, Steve Smith and Victor Cruz, Manningham, he got injured. Hakeem Nicks, OBJ. You just go on and on and on. I mean, it's just so many guys. But I mean, OBJ. I mean, his first 3 seasons were great, really. But then, of course, in 2017, he only played in 4 games. 2018 played in 12. 2019 played all 16. But then 2020 played in 7 games. Let's see, 2021. He played in 14 games, but then he missed all 2022. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he kind of was trying to see if anybody would pick him up toward the end of the season, and nobody did and all. But so it's just such a shame. I mean, my goodness. Then of course he had 91 receptions in 2014, 96 receptions in 2015, 101 in 2016. Then, of course, he got injured in 2017. He only had 4 catches. Played in 4 games, only had 25 catches. But, I mean, man, unbelievable. It was simply amazing. But, I mean, he had 101 receptions in 2016. But Steve Smith has the Giants' all-time record with 107 receptions. But I said, he's one of the guys we have so many guys that we've had over the years that just got injured. But it would be nice. It's nice to see. What we got? How does Baltimore blend him, OBJ, into their new one? I don't know, man. I mean, you see some funny stuff because, like I seen one picture. This is a couple weeks ago. Something and it was a picture of OBJ, and his face was like. Something along those lines. He was like, kind of looking pissed off or something like that. And the caption either on top or underneath said something like OBJ's face when Lamar Jackson runs in his 3rd touchdown of the game or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you gotta know who you're dealing with there. You gotta deal with it, right? I mean. Things are going good. Everything's just finding Receiverville, right? If he's getting some catches and some touches and maybe winning some game, maybe things are good. But Lamar just starts taking off, and OBJ thinks he's open, or OBJ might be open, or OBJ might be open for in the end zone for a touchdown reception, and Lamar pulls it down and takes off and runs for TD, runs for a couple. Things might start getting a little hairy there, but they should complement each other. I mean, not that OBJ is going to be taking the top off like he used to, but OBJ should open things up a little more maybe for Lamar. But I mean, if Lamar, has too many guys spying on him, that should help open up things for OBJ. So there should be a balance there, but we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, Lamar is like the face of the team. OBJ is just kind of stopping by, so we'll have to wait and see. On the power run out and spread and pistol sets will have the pass mixed in more than last season. Yeah, I mean it's possible. I mean that was one of the problems. As especially with Lamar, he could certainly always take off and run. But I mean, they could always use some help, especially with the the receiver. I mean, they could be, they got Andrews, the tight, I think that's his name, the tight end. I mean, he had a bunch of catches against us last year. He's a great tight end, but just a big, solid target. My goodness, it's tough to defend that guy. Jeez. But I think Lamar takes 2. Well, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I don't like about running quarterbacks. It's all fine and fancy, but after a while, the human body only can take so many hits. There's, the quarterbacks, they just take too many hits. I mean, like Michael Vick is a perfect example. He was just ungodly, unbelievable. But, and he would start getting maybe some late hits, but guys would take some extra shots at him and stuff like that. And, it just sometimes it would just affect his game. But I mean, for you to be able to pass the ball, I mean, if your elbow is hurt or you got a problem with one of your fingers or your wrist or you got some sore ribs or you got a bad ankle or knee or something like that, and you can't set up in a it's going to hurt your passing game. I mean, especially nowadays, you got 17 games. That's a lot of games. And if you're a running quarterback, that's a lot of times, to be running the ball throughout the course of the season. And running, if there's times you're in the pocket and you get hit, that's a lot of shots. And you're asking a lot. I mean, look at Jalen Hurts. I mean, he almost wound up costing the Eagles the season last year. At the end of the season, what was it, his shoulder? He was having problems with that shoulder, right? I mean, you're asking a lot, to be able to make it throughout the whole season and stay healthy. So now then you get into the playoffs, right? So say you win your division, just say, right? And you win the divisional round. Maybe you can skip just say you're a number one seed or whatever, just say whatever. You don't have to play the first round. So you play a divisional round, then you play the championship game, then you go to the Super Bowl. So now that you're in the Super Bowl, now you're in the 20th game of the season, still trying to run the ball and all that. And, that's a lot of football to play to try to stay healthy that whole season. I mean, so if you're, if your, biggest asset is being able to run the ball, where Vic and Lamar are like the times it hurts compared to times it hurts. Yeah. That's a lot of, but then even if you make it through a season, okay, cool. But it's going to start wearing on you. I mean, season after season after season after season. Look at, without sounding like a total moron, right? Look at the quarterbacks who stand in the pocket, right? I mean, Eli right? I mean, Brett Favre ran around, but I'm saying, look at some of the guys who are a lot of pocket passers who lasted a long time in the season, long time in their career. I mean, look at Brady. I mean, Brady and Peyton and Eli and, Rodgers. I mean, Rodgers was around, the 2000, when did he get drafted? 2006 or something. I mean, Phillip Rivers. I mean, Dan Marino had a long, Joe Montana. It helps to be, obviously you're bigger threat and all of that if you can run around, but you're not going to last as long taking all those shots. Oh, yeah. One of quarterbacks is going to get hit up by a safety. It's going to get lit. Oh. It's you're asking a lot, as I said, can it happen? Yeah, sure. Of course a guy can make it to it. Absolutely. Of course, but it's not going to be easy. But I mean, it's like, I don't know, however you want to put it. Every time you take a shot, you're probably losing, you're taking a little bit off your career. It's tough. Stuff just adds up. It's really, really difficult to keep taking the shots, becoming a running quarterback and to last a long time. Doesn't mean you can't be effective for a certain period of time, but after a while, it just starts taking a toll on your body, And but Lamar's. What a phenomenal athlete he is. And same thing with Vic. Vic was disgusting sometimes. Man, he was just crazy. Man, you let that. And the thing I loved about with Vic is when he threw the ball, he was just like flicking his wrist. He would just like run and just something like that, and the ball would like sail like on a line drive. Man, what a talent that guy was. But I know as time wore on, I remember he kept complaining. He would complain. Well, not complain, but he would maybe bring it up. He would talk about maybe taking it, going out of bounds. Maybe a guy give him a shot just as he's going out of bounds. So maybe it was a legal hit or something. But the guy, the guys in the other team, they're running around after you. If they finally get a chance to hit you legally, they're going to hit you, Oh, yeah, I think Dimes learned from the game. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Same thing with Josh Allen. He's big and this, that, and the other thing, but, We'll have to see. I mean, because sometimes he just tries to run guys over, and that's all great, fine and fancy for a play, or maybe if it's a game to win the Super Bowl or to get to the Super Bowl or something like that. Okay, all right, okay. But man, you continue to do that. It's tough. That's some tough. But it's gonna be. It'd be nice seeing Hyatt out there with number 13 on there. Let's say the third-round pick put a little more pressure on himself on Wednesday, changing his jersey number from 84 to 13. For those not familiar, for those who are not familiar, I got this. It says Yahoo News here. There's a couple articles here. It says, I was a fan when I was young watching him, Hyatt said Wednesday. High school, college, and now being here, but just with the jersey number, it's just one of those things. I wanted to start my own legacy. That's a damn good number to start a legacy with, brother. I like low numbers, and well, he can't have this one. It says, if I had to choose a number, it would be 11, but you can't have that. That's retired by Phil Simms. So I can't. So I have to go with 13. So I see. Unfortunately, Beckham was staying here, and Beckham, continued to mount on one great season after the other. There's a chance his number would be retired here, but it is what it is. Yeah, okay, here we go. It says, Beckham stunned the league as a rookie. He had 91 catches with 1,305 yards and 12 touchdowns in 12 games. Freaking unbelievable. He was the fourth rookie in NFL history to have at least 1,300 receiving yards in a season, and the only rookie to have at least 90 receptions and 10 receiving touchdowns in a season, and he did it in 12 games. Just absolutely, just freaking crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right, so now we got the practice squad here. Starting to fill up. Doesn't look, I think there's, this article, I think it says there's 14 guys, so they can have up to 16. Who was the first quarterback you remember being a running quarterback? Well, the problem, I mean, Bobby Douglas, he was a running quarterback. Fran Tarkenton was, sorry, I got to move my legs. My dog's here. He lays in these oddest positions. So he doesn't lay the same position every time, so I can't just move my legs in the same position in the same without like accidentally hitting them. But Bobby Douglas was the first one I remember a runner. He would run over guys. That's because he had a hard time throwing the ball. He was not the most accurate quarterback, but he had a strong arm. But Fran Tarkenton was the runner, but he was a scrambler. He only scrambled. If you listen to him, he said he only scrambled a couple times a game, maybe 2-3 times, run 2-3 times a game, but he was always scrambling, because he was taught never to give up on a play. It's not like, okay, I'm going to, the pressure's under, pressure's on, I'm just going to crumble and give up on a play. No, he was scrambling around. That's why he just kept running and running and running. And back then, the guys were so big, fat, and slow, they had a hard time catching him, so he could run around. It would be a little bit different nowadays because the guys running around after him, the defensive lineman could catch him and they would sack him. But back then, I mean, he was so short and small, and and all that. He can outrun the defensive lineman and scramble around, and until somebody got open. As we all know, it doesn't matter how good of a cornerback you are, you can only cover somebody so long. I mean, somebody out there if you got 4 or 5 receivers out there, somebody's going to get open if you scramble around for 5, 6, 7 seconds, and that's what Fran used to do. Eventually, somebody would get up. Get up. Somebody would get open. So we got, I think there's 14 guys. We're allowed to have 16. So we got Cole Beasley, which is good. You kind of figured he would wind up coming back. Tyree Phillips. So actually, let me go over this here. The Giants, okay, so basically a lot of the guys, the Giants, most of the guys that are guys that they had, that they either waived or released, right? So it says the Giants were awarded no waiver claims. They didn't put in any to pick anybody up, and they had no players claimed. So the Giants have been making loads of personnel moves this year, and many felt they would likely continue to be active during the waiver period, which followed Tuesday's roster cuts. But the problem is that their position was so low. They were 26th, and they were quiet. That is likely due to them having a low position, 26th in the waiver process. So, I mean, say a good, it's kind of tough to say a good offensive lineman, got waived, because I mean, you got a young offensive lineman and you waive him, boy, you're crazy. But I mean, if somebody else popped open, that the Giants might want to have them, they're number 26. So they're so far down. That's the problem about having a good season. You're low on the waiver wire. You got to, you pick a number 20. We trade up the number 24, the draft order, But it's at the waiver wire deadline of noon. See, what it was on Tuesday was when you had to get down to your initial 53, but it wasn't even 24 hours. So basically from 4 o'clock on Tuesday till noon on Wednesday was the waiver. That's when guys could get claimed off the waiver wire. So I guess it was only like 20 hours long. The Giants have not been successful in claiming any available players on the waiver wire, nor did any of the other 31 NFL teams claim any of the players that they cut on Tuesday. So, and it says here also in this article, it says, in fact, none of the 4 NFC East teams were awarded a player off the waiver wire. Interesting. It says players who cleared waivers are now eligible to sign to the practice squads or active rosters at this point. The practice squad can hold up to 16 players, and that window opened at noon on Wednesday. So that brings us back to the practice squad here. Where are we at here? So we got Cole Beasley. Then, of course, it's nice because Patty Traynor was talking a lot about, she was very impressed with Tyree Phillips. She thought he might, going back by a couple of weeks here, they thought he had the inside track to being maybe the swing tackle, but Matt Parrott, as of right now, is the swing tackle. It says that the Giants surprisingly waived Tyree Phillips, a 26-year-old depth tackle who last year clocked in 365 snaps, mainly at right tackle, although he gave up 3 sacks and 16 total pressures. Phillips received favorable pass blocking grades. Nevertheless, he found himself back on the practice squad after clearing waivers. So it's good to have. I mean, he's familiar with the offense and all, so it's good to have him back there. You got to have some depth. Is he the greatest depth in the world? No. I mean, the Giants got, a little ways to go as far as getting some real good, solid depth on the offensive line. But then we got Deontay Johnson back. He's a developmental guy here. Undrafted free agent Deontay Johnson also joined the practice squad after a promising preseason performance, standing at 6'2" and weighing 230 pounds. The Toledo product racked up 7 tackles, 1 stop, and yielded 40 yards across 3 receptions in coverage during the preseason. The Giants are keen on investing in his developmental trajectory. So, that's quite possibly somebody that, they're looking maybe keep him on the practice squad, hope he stays stashed on the practice squad, develop him, and maybe, they can get something out of him down the line. Jamon Green, that's good. Jamon Green, another undrafted free agent, but from Michigan, right? Showed promise despite conceding 118 yards and a touchdown in coverage. Giants see developmental upside in Green, who stands at 6'2" and 186 pounds. So the 6'2", nice size. I mean, 186, okay. It could be worse, could be better, but 6'2", nice size. So they think they can develop him. That's good. Ryder Anderson. That's good to have him back because I wasn't sure if they were going to keep 6 defensive linemen, right? Was it going to be Jordan Riley? Because, they probably weren't going to let him go to waivers because he probably wouldn't make it back to them. But were they going to keep 6? And if they were going to keep 6, was it going to be Ryder Anderson or DJ Davidson? So they went DJ Davidson, but I'm kind of anxious to see, hopefully, Ryder Anderson with his, I believe it was a tricep, right? And he bulked up. So if he makes it, it'd be interesting to see how he does. Because unfortunately, with his injury, we really didn't get a chance to see much of him at all preseason. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be why. Ryder Anderson, who didn't get any snaps this preseason, was another practice squad addition. Last preseason, he was in for 72 snaps, collecting 6 tackles and 3 stops. Anderson demonstrated some potential as a pass rusher, something the Giants could capitalize on. Good old Tommy DeVito, fan favorite. So that's really, really good. Tommy certainly showed some upside there, without question. It just, Tyrod, being the veteran that he is and all and everything, it would be a hard time to have DeVito, be number 2 and put Tyrod on, So, but also likewise, if you let Tommy DeVito go on waivers, yes, that means another team would have to pick him up and put him on their 53. And he would have to be on their 53 for 3 weeks, at least 3 weeks, right? But to pick up a quarterback and have to put him on your 53 and he doesn't know your system at all or anything like that, that's kind of taking a little bit of a gamble. But, I'm very happy that they got him back on their practice squad. Now he knows the system. If we get him back for next season, right, it'll be a second season in the same system, right? We don't know if we're going to have Tyrod back or not because this is his final season with the Giants. Are we going to give him another year or whatever? We don't know. But Tommy DeVito certainly showed some nice stuff in preseason. And it'd be nice to actually see maybe what he could do if he actually got some protection. Because, man, that poor guy was running for his life a lot. Oshane Ximines, he came back. Nobody picked him up. Interesting. 4-year NFL veteran was also rejoined the squad. Last season, he tallied 15 pressures and 3 sacks across 506 total snaps with a liability on run. It's always been his problem. He can, get you some pressure, right? But if they run the ball, he's a little bit of a liability. Ximines offers a seasoned edge rushing option if needed. Good thing here. Toman Fox got him back, the special teams contributor. Toman Fox, a former undrafted free agent from North Carolina, made it to the practice squad after registering 7 pressures and 4 tackles this preseason. So he got some pressure. I was a little surprised because they had, 9 linebackers they kept. I was looking to see, I saw Cam Brown. I'm like, Cam Brown. And like Carter Coughlin. I'm like, Carter Coughlin. I'm like, we keeping 8 linebackers and those 2 are what? So, obviously with Simmons in there, but obviously they also put some emphasis on the special teams too, because you're going to get some special teams play from Cam Brown. You're going to get some special teams from Carter Coughlin. So I was a little surprised when they let Toman Fox go. And then, of course, also a little surprising was Darian Beavers. But he's back. They got him on the practice squad, so that's good. Darian Beavers, the 2022 6th-round draft pick, was also cut but found his way back to the practice squad. He logged 53 snaps this preseason, amassing 5 tackles, 2 stops, displaying potential as a run stopper for the future. And when I was listening on Big Blue Kickoff Live, is they were kind of like, easing him back in. They weren't like throwing him to the dogs or anything like that. He was coming back from his injury. So they were kind of easing him in, So maybe that's why he didn't get a lot of playing time. He didn't get maybe a lot of snaps, 53 snaps. Not a lot. What is that? What is it? 18, 30, 18, 19, 19, 38, 1957, about 18 snaps a game. About 18 snaps a game. So that's, it's not a lot, especially you figure that we didn't have many first stringers in there. So. And Amani Oruwariye, that's good. So we got experienced corner. Former Detroit Lion Amani Oruwariye returned to the squad after a preseason where he made 8 tackles and gave up 71 yards with 1 pass breakup. He brings additional experience to the cornerback position. That's very good. Ryan Jones, that's good. That's good. Good guy. And actually, then they bought, then they got a Sequoia tree, which we're going to go over next. Oh my goodness. But Ryan Jones, that's good. Very good. Ryan Jones, an undrafted tight end from East Carolina. Now, it'd be interesting to see if Myrick didn't fracture his hand. I'm not sure if his hand, his fingers, or whatever it was. What would have happened? Would it kept Myrick or try to get Myrick back on the practice squad instead of Jones or not? But it is what it is. But standing at 6'2" and 247 pounds, Jones got 81 snaps this preseason, gaining 21 yards through receptions. I think he had 2 catches. Then Adoree Jackson, the towering target from the Eagles, right? Adoree Jackson, formerly from the Eagles, was another tight end acquisition. This preseason, he took 74 snaps and contributed 72 yards. Standing at 6'7", Jackson offers a unique aerial threat. 6'7" tight end. Wow. Holy cow. We got Alex Cook back. Very, very good. Alex Cook, an undrafted safety out of Washington. So, you know what I mean? It's the thing you like, okay, is that, do you earn your spot? Do you earn your roster spot and all? It doesn't matter if you're first rounder, or sixth rounder, or an undrafted free agent. Alex Cook, undrafted safety out of Washington, earned himself a way on the practice squad. Way to go, Alex. Good job. Showed potential this summer. He played 97 snaps, registering 9 tackles, 3 stops, and 48 yards with 1 touchdown given up in coverage. Cook exhibits potential as a solid tackler and a run defense asset, but needs to improve in coverage. So maybe that's something he can certainly work on. I mean, you're never going to be whatever, a safety, a cornerback, whatever you're going to say, and go from being, guy needs some work in coverage, and you're not going to go from being working coverage to being Deion Sanders. That ain't happening. But, you can certainly work on your craft. Absolutely. Your footwork, whatever. Video, film study of your opponents, of your quarterbacks, and all, you become absolutely more and more familiar with the defense would be huge, knowing where everybody's at, where you got your coverage at, who's helping you out, all that stuff, the longer you're playing, the more snaps you get, and all things should just start slowing down a little bit for you. Once you stop thinking and you can just start reacting, it gets a lot easier. So he can certainly get better in coverage. Absolutely. I mean, just don't expect like no Troy Polamalu from him or anything like that. But it's good to see him back on the because you got these guys and you're with them all summer long and, all that. It's nice to see some of these guys coming back. So it's really, really good. So I'm really happy for him. So good. Where do you go, Alex? And then we got Dennis Houston, the underdog, right? Dennis Houston. Who? Yep, Dennis Houston. Last but not least, Dennis Houston, another undrafted free agent. There you go, right? Huh? This time from Western Illinois, is a wide receiver. Rounded out the practice squad. Houston notched 62 yards over 90 total snaps this preseason, showcasing both reliable hands and developmental upside. So, all right. So, but that was that 14? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe they added another 2 or something. I don't know. But, they can put up to 16 guys on there. So apparently they can certainly add a couple more guys. But, it's just also the initial. That thing's going to keep changing, Yeah, it's just the way it is. That's just going to keep, whatever, the undrafted, these guys here, whatever, Dennis Houston could be here today and he'd be gone tomorrow. Alex Cook could be here today and gone tomorrow. So it is what it is. These are the guys on the practice squad as of right now. I think there's only a couple guys that you can probably pretty much count on that's going to be a lock for the practice squad who aren't going anywhere. I can't see him doing anything with Tommy DeVito. They're not, if they bring him up, okay, whatever, but I can't see them cutting him to make room for somebody else. There's a couple guys on here, but it's always a moving part. The practice squad. It's not, you got your 16 guys, but it can keep changing throughout the season. And then finally, I'll tell you what I looked. What's the date? All right, here we go. October 29th. Man, mark it down on your calendar. Are we going to have a Royal Rumble between the Giants and the Jets? Because we got good old Hottie, right? He kind of was explaining his situation, how he wound up bumping Rodgers and kind of going in his face and stuff like that after he threw a touchdown pass. Ward responded by saying, Oh, after Hottie wound up hitting Rodgers, Rodgers said, "I don't even know who you are," Rodgers said. And Ward responded by saying, "I don't know who you are, bro. I don't know who the F you are." And I said, "Bull," Rodgers responded. On Wednesday after practice, Ward spoke about it for the first time since the incident. He said, "There's a reason why I acted like that from the first place," Ward said. "There's a reason why I shoved him like I did. The reason why is because I don't let any of my mother effing teammates get knocked over." And Randall, he said, "Randall, what's his name? Randall Cobb?" He knew what he did. I mean, the shot on Bobby McCain, that was a, ooh, man, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. I mean, McCain's head snapping back like that and all of that. Wow. Hottie said that was some cheap blank. If you see anything on the field, I've got to do what I've got to do. At the end of the day, I don't want anyone out here thinking I was trying to cause a scene," Ward went on. "There's a reason why I do things. That was some sucker, you know what, that Randall Cobb and Aaron Rodgers did, and I'm stamping on that. I ain't hiding from nothing. Laugh now, cry later." But it's also kind of funny because, well, not funny, but there's a picture here. Now, what is this? This is from the New York Post. If you scroll down pretty far, there's a picture of Rodgers and Cobb both laughing. And Cobb's like holding his chest laughing, like he's laughing hard. And that's after the hit. It said, Hottie said, "I think my side of the story is I'm not going to let any of my teammates get knocked down like that." Ward said he was not only ticked off at Cobb, but at Rodgers too, for laughing about the hit and the penalty. Rodgers joked with him. He said he went up to him and said something like, "Yo, man, this ain't 2014 or something like that. Like, I guess you could do that and get away with it. I don't know, in 2014. But there's a picture of him after the penalty and after the hit and all that. And Cobb's like laughing on it, holding his chest on the sideline, and Rodgers is like right next to him. He's laughing too. Hottie said they know what they did. They was laughing and all that stuff. Ward said they know what they did. I know what he did. The coaches know what he did. My teammates know what he did. I'm the only one that's sticking up for McCain. The whole team was pissed off about that. Good, very good. Preseason and all that stuff, and you're going to do some reaction and all that. SHIT. That's how they roll, and I think we play them soon. So, October 29th. Indeed, the Jets and the Giants, oh, here you go. Duh, it says at the end of the article, play each other on October 29th, and clearly Rodgers will need no introductions to Jihad Ward. So that is, what game is that? What we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8th game of the season. Mark it down. That's going to be that's going to be some that's going to be some good stuff there. I mean, that's going to be especially so it's like about halfway through the season, right? So especially if you've got to figure the Jets, they should be doing good. They got a tough, just like the Giants. Their division's tough. I mean, the Dolphins nice defense, but obviously if Tua can stay healthy, with Waddle and Hill, whoo, right? Buffalo, Patriots, I'm sure, they'll cause some headaches and all that, but that should be a tough division. Same thing with the NFC. So, that's going to be, what record do you predict for them? The Jets? Well, see, a lot of it, it's tough. A lot of it is, I haven't looked at their I don't even know who else they're playing. Oh, there we go. Can I click on them? Where are we at? There we go. I don't know what other division they're playing. Oh, can I click on them again? Here we go. Because they're playing, is it the West? Oh, they're playing the West, the AFC West. So they're playing the Broncos, the Chargers, the Raiders. Wow. So they got Yeah, the Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, and the Chiefs. That's tough, too. I mean, because the Chiefs, obviously, I think we know the Chiefs are pretty good. The Chargers will be tough. Not so sure about the Raiders, but we'll see. And the Broncos could be tough. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what Sean Payton can do with Russell Wilson. But they got a tough schedule. A lot of it, one of the biggest problems was, can they keep Aaron Rodgers standing upright long enough? You know what I mean? Because they got some questions, obviously. Mekhi Becton, he's supposed to be coming back. He's supposed to be man and one in the tackle. Can he stay healthy? I mean, he hasn't played it down. I think the guy said since like the first game of 2021. So they got some good guys on the offensive line. But I keep on hearing all the time is that they're, it's kind of, might be a little suspect, especially if they can keep Aaron Rodgers up. But, they got a good defense. It's going to be tough. I mean, they could be just the same thing with the Giants. They could be 9-8. They could have a good team and be 9-8, 10-7 or something like that, just basically on the fact that they got such a hard schedule. Hard schedule. Same thing with the Giants. The AFC East and the NFC East both have hard schedules this year. Very, very tough schedules. Oh, what do we got? Belichick will figure it out up there. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, he's always going to give you, I know they got beat a couple of times. Well, I mean, of course, you have Joe Judge calling plays for you and stuff like that. I mean, but I think they might have that figured out a little bit. But I'm sure, he's one of those guys. He'll find a way to keep his team in the playoff hunt or, in games and stuff like that. I don't know if they're going to be winning the division at all or anything, but, obviously he's one of the greatest coaches, if some say the greatest coach of all time. I would like to see, like with Belichick, if what would he have done without Brady, right? I mean, because Brady won a Super Bowl without Belichick. I mean, Belichick, so hasn't gone to a Super Bowl since Brady's been gone. So be a little, I always kind of wonder about that. I mean, Belichick's obviously a fantastic coach, no doubt about that. Even he did a nice job when he actually was with the Browns back in the 90s. He coached the Browns the last season before they moved to Baltimore. And after they moved to Baltimore, they got rid of the whole coaching staff and they brought in some new guys, and Belichick was gone. So but Belichick did a nice job with the Browns. I know they had one of the seasons they did very, very well, and they went to the playoffs. So, I mean, he's a very good coach, obviously. But it's going to be they have a hard schedule, really hard schedule. Yeah, it says same thing with the Giants. We got Cleveland 95 was an impossible situation. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's such a such a shame. I mean, it really was. I was at 95 or 94 that they went to the playoffs. I know one of the years they did really, really well. I know they lost in a, let me see if I can type it up here. I know they went to the playoffs one of the years. They did really well, and they obviously they lost in the playoffs. Yep. Hold on here. That's it. At 11-5. There was, and they were second in the AFC Central, but Belichick was the quarterback. Yeah, Belichick was their quarterback. Bill Belichick was the coach. They were 11-5. Who did they lose to? Okay, they beat the Patriots in the first round. Oh wow, I forgot about this. Here, hold on there now. What does it say? Yep. In the first round, Cleveland Browns were at home playing against the New England Patriots. So in this game, 1994, Bill Belichick beat Bill Parcells. So remember, it was in 94, and then in 95. Well, so the Patriots they lost. The Patriots were 10-6 in 1994. In 1995, Bill Parcells took them to the 95, 94, 92, 93, 94. No, actually 96, he took them to the Super Bowl. 96, he took the Patriots to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, Bill Parcells, as soon as he got in there, he's just taking the Patriots, So 96, he took them to the Super Bowl against the Packers. But Parcells did a phenomenal job. But I mean, the Browns had a great season, 11-5, really, really good season. They lost in the divisional round to the Steelers 29-9. But then the following season, what were they? I mean, I know they had a losing right. They went from 11-5 to 5-11. But I mean, a lot of it because they were moving. Art Modell, moved them. So it's an absolute shame. But I mean, I tell you what, in the long run, it wound up working out the best for Bill Belichick. Why, Bill? Because he wound up finding a spot within the New England Patriots, Tom Brady, and now he's got all those Super Bowl rings. He's got 8 of them because he's got 2 with the Giants and 6 of them with the Patriots. So he has 8 Super Bowl rings. Holy cow, man, it's a lot. And I don't know what does he have here. Bill Belichick. How many is he away? He got 298 wins. So, well, I guess maybe that's not including the playoffs. I'm not sure, but I know he's got a couple years to go. He still has to coach a few more years and get a decent. He's got to get probably 10 wins a season or something like that for a few more. If he ever wants to catch Don Shula's all-time winning mark, he still has a couple more years left to go. So I don't know if he's got. Because how old is he? My God, Bill Belichick. He's 71. April. Oh, okay. So he just turned April 16th. He just turned 71. So he's 71 years old. So if he's going to catch like Don Shula's all-time record, he's going to wind up being he's got to be like 73 or 74 years old. I mean, he's going to be, So, I mean, also the one thing that helps him out as well, too, is, now he's coaching in an era where there's 16 games and 17 games. Don Shula started coaching for the Baltimore Colts when there was 14 games. He coached a long time for 14 games, and then he wound up, he beat George Halas, who had, I think, 320 wins. But George Halas coached for like 40 years, but also George Halas also coached when they were only playing 12 games. If George Halas coached for 40 years when they were playing 17 games like they are nowadays, George Halas would probably have over 400 wins and probably nobody or whatever catch him. But it is what it is. But, I mean, either way, I mean, the Jets are, as I said, they can certainly have a good season and be 10-7 because it's just such a tough schedule. But, I think they have to stay healthy. They got to be able to keep Rodgers upright. And there was no indication when the Giants played the Jets because they maybe had their starters in there, but we didn't have our starters in there. Right. So, but I tell you what, keep an eye on them. October 29th, that could be a heck of a battle because both teams are going to need that victory. I mean, it's going to be a big one. That could be something if you start looking along the lines like the 2011 game, right? The Giants, it was the end of the season. The Giants needed that win to just have a chance to still make the playoffs and all that stuff or win the division and everything like that. So that could be one of those games, That'll be very, very interesting. But I know Hottie's not going to forget about it at all. That's for damn sure. All right, guys. Well, it's been 53 minutes. Terrence in Jersey, guys. Good talking to you guys. Always back again tomorrow. I'm sure there's be something else to talk about, right? So whoever spends any time listening to me live here, thank you. Or anybody spends any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.